Welcome to Vaping Dawn to Dusk. I'm Juicy Jones, and that's Polish Vapes UK, and this is our show where we wake up on Saturday mornings, talk to some people about their vaping stories, and hang out. How are you, Luke?
Yes, not bad.
Killer.
Just getting back in the swing of everything. Obviously, last weekend with Vape Jam, which was awesome. I am going to be editing that footage on Sunday when I'm off work, and going to try and get it up Monday or Tuesday.
That's killer. Tell them who we got today.
We have got Kayy Vapes from YouTube, and we have got Zack, and I'm not going to try and pronounce his surname.
Schaefer.
There we go.
Zack Schaefer. That's so exciting. Zack Schaefer is the admin of our Facebook group. He's a great guy. And Kayy Vapes is a really cool gal. Runs Vape Shack, is an admin over there, and has her own YouTube channel. So that's going to be cool. So we're going to talk to them in just a few minutes. First, we're just going to catch up with you guys and chat a little bit. So Luke, you were at Vape Jam. You know what? That Vape Jam episode we did last week was freaking fun as hell.
Yeah. Right. We had a really good weekend. It was fun. Hopefully, I know I will talk a bit about it in my vlog, but obviously there was no talk of the TPD, which was a bit of a... I just don't see the point of doing an event like that and not talking about the TPD, because obviously next year, if everything comes in next month that they've said is going to come in, there will be no Vape Jam next year, so it's a bit of a shame that they didn't even bring it up.
Yeah, and my understanding is that Phil Basardo had a similar complaint, that they kind of shuffled him off because they wanted to have their cloud comp while they were talking about advocacy, and he ended up having a very kind of ranty blog post about it, which is good.
Yeah, if you watch Grim Green's vlog, they didn't even get to do their talk. They kept asking, trying to get hold of the organisers to find out what time they were doing it, and they never even got the chance to speak whatsoever.
Those organisers are completely full of shit, and they are part of the problem in this industry if that's the way they treat an advocacy talk from someone like Phil Basardo and Dimitri. Yeah. Because what are we talking about? Half an hour for them to educate people, and then they're like, no, let's blow them off and have our cloud comp. Fuck you. The entire country will have no organised meetings next year if you don't... Idiots.
Yep.
Idiots. Well, that's too bad. Things are crazy over here on my channel. We've got the Vape AM show going twice a week, and I did a wood box opening Thursday that was fantastically fun, and then a goon thing last week that's really great, and next Tuesday we're doing coil building. So we're going to build Clapton coils with these swivels and with this wire that is just out of reach here. And that's going to be cool. Sean Tapp from Coils for Advocacy is going to be here for that, and that's going to be crazy. And in fact, I'm vaping my Hot Sig setup, the DX200 and the Hot Sig Chameleon.
Nice.
It's pretty fun. Oh, that was the other video I did this week. It was a Chameleon.
I'm running my new Twisted Messes Squared on the RX. With some nice anarchist e-juice, which this stuff is amazing. Absolutely loved it. Picked it up at Vape Jam.
Very interesting. I see it all over Instagram.
Yeah. The only thing I've found with it is really sweet. So, I've only been dripping it for last hour, and my cotton is already brown, and it stays like that. So
you
really need to keep. You have to keep re-wicking it because it just destroys the cotton.
That's what Big Lou's talking about. That's his pet peeve on his mechs and stuff. Is looking down at his cotton, looking like, a rat died on it. It bothers me sometimes. It really depends on the juice.
I am hoping if I get time, because obviously I want to edit the vlog for Vape Jam Sunday, but if I get time, I may shoot a live show on Sunday to do the wrap of my RX, which I got also from Wood Wrap.
Yeah, in fact, I spoke to the gal at I spoke to Paige at Woodbox, and she was thrilled. And I have the questions that we got from the show the other day, and I'm going to take those and with you, and we're going to ask her those questions, try to get answers. She may not have all the answers by the time we do that thing, but that's cool. So that's really cool. I really like mine.
Yeah,
a lot. I had to take the batteries out because they're dead, so they're on the charger. Yeah. Even my girlfriend, who doesn't vape at all, was like, "Oh, that's nice. It feels nice." By the way, I want to say
Yeah.
hi to everybody in chat. All you guys, we love you. Thanks every single one of you who bother to tune into this show because you guys are great. There are a lot of people in the chat. Wow. Yeti's Uncle Vaping
Yeah.
with Nick and B, Vaping for Beginners, a vaping computer guy who's new. Thank you. Stephen Gibson, thank you. Shane Smith, Ryan Berman, Robbie Vape Shops Live Polo, Polish Vapes UK. That guy's a jerk. Okie, Mr. Cobra Fire, Milkman John. I can't say all the names. This is the first time the list has been several pages, so that's cool.
Yeah.
That's fun. So all of you are welcome, and we love all you guys. And there's Aid too, love him, just saw him in the thing. And Sarah Irons, hi, you're new. Yeah, this is going to be a cool show. Do we have any other like business junk to talk about besides you're going to be doing your vlog and your wood wrap? I've got my build coming up next week.
No.
Yeah.
Don't
What are we
think so.
doing? We do this show. So this show has great stuff coming up. Next week is Vaping Todd, which is enormous,
Yep.
and the week after is Dimitri. Yep, I heard back from. I got Dimitri's contact info. So, yeah. So I haven't contacted him yet, but we're set. So I'm really excited. Vaping Todd's going to be awesome, and so is Phil Bastardo. It's going to be really fun. And then the week after that, we're going to do either a DIY or we're just going to invite some friends on. Haven't decided yet.
Yeah. Mr. Cobafar is asking about the wood wraps. I'm not sure why they don't do a top wrap. I've never asked that question. I don't know if that's one of the questions that Juicy's going to ask.
I don't, but I will put that on there because you mentioned
I'm not
that.
sure why. I'm not sure why they didn't, but obviously because I've got the vinyl wrap on mine, I'm actually going to leave the top and bottom wrap on mine. But yeah, I don't know why they didn't. I'm not sure.
I just wrote that down as a question to ask Paige. They're really cool over at Woodbox. I like them. And after I put this on my... Oh, and I want to tell everybody something else. This is something you don't know. I talked to her, and she said that if you put it on and you fuck it up, they'll give you another one. So if you put it on and you screw it up, you take a picture of it and send it to them, they'll send you another wrap if it can't be fixed. It has to be within reason. Like, I don't think mine personally qualifies, and mine is just like a little gap. Like mine's just slightly uneven. So I don't think mine qualifies, and in fact, I don't want it to. I'm perfectly fine with it. But I was shocked to hear her say that. She was cool. And I feel kind of bad because I asked her if that was policy or if she was just being nice to me, and I forgot to wait for the answer. So now I've told everyone it's policy. But it may not be. But ask them. They're really nice.
Yeah, I know Vape Jam, if you went up and bought one, they were actually sticking them on for you, so you didn't have to have the hassle of doing it yourself. And then obviously if they do it wrong, they'll just replace it, but they were actually putting them on for people.
Yeah, that's nice. That's cool. So I don't want to... Yeah, that's so cool. I'm just looking through one of the worst things. Oh, look, there's a new viewer, and it's Douglas Moore, and he's only been vaping a month. Hell yeah. Congratulations, buddy. Good for you. That's really great. That's super great. And we're going to hear some people today talk about their vaping stories. That's what we do here. We're going to talk to Kayy Vapes, who's an admin at Vape Shack and has a YouTube channel and does reviews and is on Instagram. And she's going to be here in just 1 second. And so is our admin, Zack Schaefer, who is at Disney World or Land. I don't know which one's which right now. Luke, what do you think? Should we get him on? You got anything else to tell everybody or ask?
I don't think so. I think we can get on the guests.
Without
I think
friends.
we've covered anything. Like I said, remember guys, if you if you've got any questions for the guests, just put it in the chat and we will try and keep an eye on it and ask any questions that you want to ask.
Yeah, so cool. All right, I've got their video up. You guys can unmute yourselves. There they are. Kay just took a vape. She was right in the middle of a vape when I turned that on. She's like, wait. Good morning, you guys.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
How's it
Of course.
going?
It's great. Things are great. We're happy to see you guys. Super happy. So, everybody in chat, this is Kay and Zach. These are our friends. There's a lot of people in chat today.
I see that.
We're pulling up to
I'm sure it's
right
because
now.
Zap's at Disney World. Zach, are you at Disney World or Disneyland, please? I need to know.
Would this be considered Disney World or Disneyland? Okay, this is Disney World. So Disney
Disneyland
World
is California, right?
Disneyland is California.
Thank you. Thank you very much. That is so awesome.
There we go.
So that is great. So, Kay, you're in Hawaii, is that right?
That's correct.
So it's important for us to
It's
point
right
out here. Yeah, exactly. What time is it?
It is 5:23.
So
Yep.
you win the prize. You win the prize, even a better prize than I get for doing the 6 o'clock show during the week because you're up even earlier than that. I get up
My
at 4
alarm went off
o'clock.
at 3:30 to get here on 10. So
Yeah.
Dang.
And it's funny because I messaged her and I'm like, hey, are you up yet? And I'm like, oh. And then she messaged me like an hour later. It's like, yeah, I'm up now. And I was like, I'm so sorry. I forgot. You're 3 hours ahead of me. Like, what a jerk. Zach, how are you doing? You're down there in Florida at Disney World.
Yeah, I'm doing all right. We're pulling up to the parking little thing right now. All we got to do is show our pass and we get to go in. And then I'm going to sit here in the car and talk with you guys.
If you can get a shot of any people wearing matching socks, you can show us that.
Oh, yeah. I'll probably like stay in the car for about 20, 30 minutes and then I'll walk in and show you all the crazies.
Thank you.
That's funny. Oh, so one of the things that we got to do between the two of you guys, both of you, is find out what your vapor story is. We always do that, and just one at a time. We can just start with Kay if you want to, since Zach's busy parking. But
Yeah.
you want to just tell us like what your story is and like how long you smoked and what it was like for you to quit and how that happened for you. It's so different for everybody. We always ask everyone to tell us that. The viewers,
Sure.
please.
Sure. So I was a 10 to 11-year smoker. I know some of you guys in the chat. So I was a Army medic, and in the Army, kind of the only time you get for a break is if you smoke. You get 7-minute smoke breaks, about that, whatever. So I picked up smoking because I wanted to take breaks.
That's a smart idea, actually. I mean, not to smoke, but to take a break.
Right.
Yeah.
So I smoked about a pack a day for a year. And I actually used to be stationed by Juicy. So I was at in Joint Base Lewis McChord, where vaping was getting really big there. And at the
You were
time,
at
there was like,
JBLM? Wow.
yeah.
Nice. That's right here. Yeah, cool.
Yeah. And vaping was getting pretty big there. So I tried to make the switch with the, like, back in the day with CE4s and all that good but not so good stuff for me, and it never really caught on. So when I moved to Hawaii, I tried again and paid like super overpriced amounts for devices, and ended up finding out that I wasn't saving myself any money because I was getting totally ripped off in like the juice department and the device department, and I knew nothing about anything.
Yeah.
And so I stopped and I went back to smoking. And this time that I'm actually successful, I'm actually at 80 days now.
That's great.
Yeah, I joined a community where there were people to point me in the right directions as far as devices and stuff like that. And I didn't pressure myself. I was like, I'm not actually quitting smoking. It's like mentally in my head, I let myself know I'm not actually quitting smoking. I'm competing with my husband on who could not smoke longer.
So you played a little mind game with yourself.
Yeah. So in our competition, I'll always be the winner because I decided to compete 2 days earlier. So as long as I stay away and successful, which I am and will, I'm going to be the winner. So
What do they
Go
say?
me.
If you're early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late.
that's right.
If you're late, no one's there. We're all gone.
So
So let me ask you. It was pretty hard for you to give up the cigarettes until you had access to better gear. Is that what I'm hearing? Like the
Yeah.
cartomizers and stuff didn't work for you?
yeah, the Cigalikes, I tried all different kinds of Cigalikes because, I don't know, for me, I wanted like the aesthetics of liking what it looked like to carry it around, and I wanted it to be right for me. And it was weird, but there was something that was very like relaxing for me to see, like that cloud, the exhale of vapor, and then it just wasn't there. Like I saw people who had it, and I just couldn't get the right devices to do that, and it wasn't satisfying having that little like puff of whatever little bit of vapor that ended up coming off those devices as
Baby
opposed
cartomizers,
to
yeah.
cigarette. Yeah.
Was it yeah, so what exactly made you quit smoking? Like what made you go like, "Oh, I don't want to smoke anymore. That's it. Fuck this." Like was it like that, or was it just a competition with your husband, or you had decided to quit in Washington, right? As you
Right.
said.
So it was never actually, my husband and, my family and stuff like that, they would talk about like, oh, we wanted to quit smoking. But I never really wanted to. Like, it was me. It was my way of life. You know, I had progressed into this person who was a smoker, and it was never really a desire for me to quit smoking. It was actually, honestly, the biggest push into it was a deal with my 8-year-old son. He's like, you know, he's getting a little older and getting into things that he's not supposed to get into. So we made a deal. He really hated that my husband and I smoked, and he was getting into like stealing a little bit. So our deal was we would stop smoking and he would stop stealing, and that's really what pushed me into it. But yeah, with the mind game that I was competing to be the better non-smoker in the house.
But I hear that though. I hear the first part of that, and that is that sometimes you just find yourself being a smoker. And it's because nicotine is so fucking addictive. I remind all the viewers that if you're hooked on nicotine and it's tough for you, you know, that's what this is all about. We're telling you it's tough for everybody. And sometimes you don't want to be a smoker. Like, I smoked for 30 years almost, and I never considered myself a smoker. I was an addict to nicotine who smoked cigarettes. But man, I like the aesthetic part of the volume of Vapor 2, like you were talking about. Like, I enjoy that. But I also never liked, you know, the shitty taste and the addiction and the fact that you're always thinking about cigarettes all the time.
Yeah, the other thing was I think that I really like relieved my pressure and like I really like I said I played a mind game with myself that I wasn't actually quitting. So here I have the last cigarette that my husband left for me one day on the way to work, and it just sat here on my desk for days and days, like, so I didn't have that really anxiety of saying like, oh my gosh, if I decide I can't do this, I have to go to the store and go through all this process of getting cigarettes. Like, I have my cigarette. Like, if I really decided that I wanted to go back, it's disgusting now, but it's here, you know? So it's like my accountability cigarette, and it's something tangible to say, like, I've made it. And so, yeah.
You know, the first time I quit smoking, I quit for 5 years. And it was very successful. But, you know, like anyone, I had a stress time and started again. But when I quit, I kept my last pack of cigarettes, didn't even open it. Because I remember I got home and I had 2 packs, and I was finishing one, and I was like, you know what, now's a good time to quit, isn't it? So I kept that pack. And I used the gum at that time. But there was no vaping back then, really. Not for me, anyway. It was like 1995. Or, yeah, something like that. It was after my mom passed away, so I think it was 96. That's cool. I'm glad that you're smoke free. I mean, 80 days, that's amazing. That's really good. So you're still in that kind of danger zone where it's probably not quite that easy for you all the time, or has it become easy?
You know, it's very strange, but like at first when I smelled other people smoking, I was like, man, that smells glorious. And then it started to smell like absolutely atrocious. And then I was at the gas station yesterday, and this lady was like, can I get a pack of cigarettes? And I wanted to turn around and be like, no, have some vape here.
Well, remember, the appropriate thing to say is, hey, have you ever heard about vaping? That's the way to... Okay. That's really funny, because this morning, that you say that just like that, this morning I walked out the door to walk the dog at 4:30 or whatever, and I smelled cigarettes. It was disgusting. And I looked left and right, and there was no one around. And I looked left, and all the way down, my door is dead center in the middle of the block. I looked left, and all the way to the end of the block, there was a guy stepping off the curb who was smoking. That's how disgusting cigarettes are. It's 150 feet. And I could still smell that guy's disgusting cigarettes. And this right here smells like apple. Yesterday, the post office guy, I was vaping, and he pulled up, the postal worker, and he got out and he asked me, oh, is that a vape? How many people do that? Most people are like,
probably not that many.
Yeah.
It's actually, to my surprise, really big in Hawaii. Like, there's a ton of people who vape in Hawaii. Like, it's a big thing. When I go to the water park, like, everyone around me is vaping. I'm like, this is crazy. I didn't know it was such a big community in Hawaii.
You know the people at Exquisite Liquids? Or Exquisite Vapor? What's it called? The Good Exquisite? One of them's lame and one of them's good, and they're in Hawaii.
I'm not
it's like
familiar.
the biggest
Only
vape shop on the big island.
Oh, I'm on Oahu. So
yeah, so...
on my island is e-ciggity.
Right on. I met the guys at Elixir Vapors, or Elixir Vapors. I forget which one. I realize one of them is a scam and one of them is a great retailer, juice maker in Hawaii. So please, y'all, don't forgive me for not getting it right. But anyway, if you ever get out there, they're really nice. I met them and over here at VapeCon International, and I was surprised at how big vaping is in Hawaii. Like, they were telling me the same thing. Like,
right.
Crazy. One of the guests in our show, Abinai Photos, he actually is in Hawaii right now, taking care of his mom. And then speaking of which, I would just want to have a sympathetic shout out to Vaping for Beginners, whose dad is ill. So our hearts are all with you, buddy. Definitely.
Definitely. Before we get into Zach's story, do you want to tell people why you got into YouTube reviewing, Kay? What got you into it?
Yeah, so what really got me into it was the fact that my first device that I was talking about when I stopped vaping was a total ripoff. I got a Sigeli 100 watt for $250. Yeah, you heard me right. $250 is what I paid for it. And I was
sympathize. I bought a Decimus.
I was absolutely in shock when I came to find out that's not what you have to pay for these things. And I thought that, $22 a 30 ml premium juice, that was the only thing out there. 30 mls was the max amount that you could get, and $22 to $27, that was the standard. And it turns out that it's not that way. So,
right, not quite.
Yeah. So I thought it was important to let people know that, as well as for like the time that I had, that it was, really difficult in convincing myself to quit. That, every person's story is different, and my story on YouTube actually started within 15 days of me starting vaping. So I'm just living proof from like day one almost that you can do it, and you just, there's many different ways, many different routes to do it, and I'm just sharing mine.
Killer. That's really great. Yeah, and it's really nice that all of us do this, and Dak isn't doing this, but he's helping with our channel. But we do this to help people not make mistakes and stuff. And we're not trying to diss any manufacturers, but what she's saying is, gosh, I made mistakes. I can help you, and that's the whole idea. And by the way, make sure that you follow all of us on Instagram and YouTube and all that stuff. And all the links are in the description of this video. And if they aren't yet, they will be soon. I know that I have Kay's YouTube in there right now, and I have Zach on Facebook, but we'll have everything else too. And so, how is your YouTube channel going? I noticed that it's actually going pretty darn good. Because it's not even that old.
Yeah, it is. It is. I was actually really surprised at how well it picked up. I do about, I'm about 2 months old, and I've been doing about 100 subscribers from every 2 weeks to a month. So I've been doing well and just kind of sharing it everywhere I go. And, I go to the vape shop. Hey, I do YouTube, and let them know, let their friends know, and kind of try to let all of my Army friends know, because I know a lot of us had went through the same thing. We all kind of tried to quit at the same time with this vaping thing. And
I love Army people.
So, yeah.
You talk to Army people, and it's like they're the most straightforward. Like, you can, from knowing me, you can tell that I like Army people, because it's like straightforwardness is the, it's a lot of the deal. I love that. That's killer. Zach, why don't you tell us what your story is? I know that.
All right.
Yeah, I know that. I don't actually know. I keep saying I know that, but I don't know how long you smoked. That's what I want to know, and how hard it was for you to do it. I want people to relate.
Well, I think I had my first cigarette at 12 or 13, because I used to hang out with the cool crowd, and they would always offer me one, and I was always scared about it. And then had my first one at 12 or 13, and then from there on it hooked and just stuck with me all the way up until I was 18. And it was on my 18th birthday that I had a really serious smoker's cough, and that's what made me want to quit.
Oh, yeah?
Because being 18 with a smoker's cough, sounding like an old man when you wake up in the morning, is not cool.
Yeah, that's not very good.
Yeah. No, it sucked. It tasted gross. I would always, my girlfriend at the time, bless her heart, she put up with me, but she'd always complain about how I smelled, and then it wasn't fun at that point anymore. It was just kind of becoming a nuisance. Every time when it gets to the point where you have to go, oh, I gotta go smoke a cigarette, then it starts to get bad. It's just, and another thing was, it's not the nicotine I kind of was addicted to, is more of the oral fixation of actually smoking something.
Uh-huh.
So
I get that.
Yeah, so, and then I picked up vaping around when I was 19, and then from there I've just been vaping ever since.
That's totally killer.
I've-
What did you start vaping on when you did it? How long ago was that, by the way?
Ooh, that was, okay, 19. Might have been 2007, 2008. Maybe in 2009.
Okay, so
Somewhere
you were
around
what,
there,
using
yeah.
cartomizers?
I was using,
And
I had, my
batteries?
first purchase was a Ego, just a regular Ego battery, and what was it, no. It was just a regular Clearmizer, the top fill one.
Oh yeah, the wig.
Yeah, the wig. And then from there, after that, I got the iTaste SVD with an Atlantis.
Oh, you have an SVD?
Yeah, somewhere
So
in
do
my
I.
house, yeah.
So you've seen mine, right?
Yep,
We were brothers. Nice.
yep. And now I'm just, vaping on one of these.
Yeah. By the way, didn't you think that the iTaste SVD was surprisingly good?
It was good at the time. I mean, what was it? 15 watts, I think.
Yeah, and the updated one that you and I didn't get is the 20-watt one, and that's actually
Yeah,
pretty
that one was
goddamn good
cool.
for a tube, a regulated
Yeah,
tube.
for a tube, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and my
Yeah,
big
'cause
thing
even
back
with
then was the buttons.
Yeah, and even with a mod with a kick on it or whatever it was, those only went up to 10 to 12 watts.
Yeah, or you could have bought a DNA 30 for $225,
Right?
right?
When you can get a DNA 200 for like, or for
160
close to
now.
that, but a little bit less.
You can get them for like 140 now at Fastech,
Yeah.
which is where they should be.
So I think.
And so
Yeah, I think
you
that's
didn't actually
everything in my
find it
story.
that difficult to quit smoking, then, did you? Because you were irritated, and you were
Yeah,
just
I was getting irritated with it, especially because of the smoker's cough. That's really, really what drove me to want to quit.
So what I'm hearing from you is that you also decided to quit. That you were like, I'm
Mhm.
quitting. And I just want to reiterate to the viewers here that if you guys are having trouble quitting or feeling weird or whatever, that feeling, wanting to quit, that's the most important thing. If you're on the fence, or if you don't think you should, or if you're not sure, you're not ready. You have to wake up and go, nope, no more cigarettes. Either you're mad or you've looked at your health report. If you're not mad and you don't think you have health problems, you should look closer, because you do. You just don't realize it. And when that stuff sinks in, you will be mad and frustrated, and you'll feel your body. You might think, oh, I'm fine, I feel great, I'm smoking cigarettes, but that's not true. It goes away. I used to think I was invincible and immortal too, and that's not
Yep.
true. And I haven't
that's when
smoked
health
in
problems
years, and
start.
I still have a cough, and that's because I smoked for 30 years. So you decided, and that's good. A lot of people just decide, and Kayy Vapes too. I don't know why I said Michaela, but Kayy Vapes too. She decided to quit, and then for her, she gamified it to make it easier for herself. And then so have heart, guys. It can happen.
Oh.
Have heart.
Yeah, like you said, just reiterating, you have to want to quit to quit.
That's
'Cause if
right.
you don't want to quit, there's no use in fighting yourself if you don't want to.
Although you will die earlier than anyone else.
Yep.
But we're not judging. That's the thing. And, I don't judge people who smoke a little, vape a little. I don't judge people who start on and off. I hear a lot of people set these ultimatums for people about quitting. And to me, that's all external, forcing things onto people. To me, what you have to do is shut your eyes and listen to your own heart and your body and your own nicotine cravings and figure out what you need. Decide to quit. Ask people like us. And then, vape the way it works. And don't feel guilty if you cheat. Don't feel guilty. The goal is not to never smoke another cigarette ever. The goal is to not be a smoker. And the result will be that you'll never smoke another cigarette eventually. It's a happy accident.
It's actually amazing. I was in my second deployment. I was in Afghanistan, and unfortunately, we lost a patient, which was not U.S., but besides the point. We ended up, for sake of medicine and things like that, we actually cracked open the chest. And it was actually really real at that moment, because we cracked open his chest and we could immediately tell that the guy was a smoker.
Wow.
Just by I held the lungs of a smoker and looked at the black and the soot that is just all over that lung. And it's actually really amazing, because people say this happens, but you don't ever actually get to see it firsthand.
I got
And it's,
goosebumps when you said that.
crazy.
That's serious. That's heavy.
Yeah. So
That's heavy that you
it's
held the
really
lungs.
saving lives. And it's insane that in that moment it wasn't enough to push me over to stop smoking. It really is a tough addiction, and it actually is odd to find out that some people aren't actually so heavy on the nicotine as they are on the mouth or hand to mouth fixation. Because for me, I started 18 milligram
tactile.
Nic in 80 days. I'm at 3 milligram Nic. I don't really know if I was heavy nicotine or heavy on that motion of taking something to my mouth. And
Well, I can explain that. The truth is that you were addicted to nicotine. It's just astonishing how much extra shit there is in cigarettes that makes it so different. So now you're just getting nicotine. You realize that you don't need that much.
Yeah.
And that's the nicotine in the cigarettes. That high nicotine in the beginning is to make sure that your nicotine levels go up fast, like they do with the cigarette, where they peak, and then it replaces that other rush stuff and all that. But it's the physical, the tactile addiction. That's significant for everyone. But that isn't the case that because you went from 18 to 3, you weren't addicted to nicotine. It's just that's natural. Everyone goes from 18 to 3. I'm at 1. And I get sick if I vape 3 all day.
I didn't start at 18. I started at 24.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah, 24.
That's what
my
Luke
first
drips.
flavor was Papa Smurf from Flavors by Joe.
Luke drips 24 right now on his dripper. That's all he ever vapes.
Oh goodness.
Just kidding.
The tear on your chest, huh?
Yeah, he's muted right now because I don't think he knows he's muted, but he was vaping, so he's muted.
That would be like a shot of whiskey right there. Just a hit at 24.
There it is.
Oh yeah,
Jeez.
I only started on 15. I think I'm not sure if nicotine. I know obviously it is addictive, but I don't think it's as addictive as the government try and say it is, because the one argument that we have in the UK is if it's so addictive, how do we go from 15 to 3 and to 0 and people still can carry on vaping and never smoke again?
Well, because of what I told you. Because of the factor of all the other crap they put in them. And because it isn't necessary. That's why you can quit, because you can taper off of any addictive substance slowly, going from 18 to 12 to 9 to 3 to 0.
Mm-hmm.
And nicotine is clinically proven to be the second most addictive thing in mankind's entire drug retinue. So that's a fact of nature. The only thing more addictive is the synthetic methamphetamine. Nicotine is the most addictive natural substance in the world, by far, by a long way. More addictive than cocaine, heroin, all of them. Because that nagging, like even after years of quitting, you'll think about cigarettes. That's what it is. That's your organs sending a signal to your brain that they want nicotine. And your brain creates a reason for you to have a thought about it. And that thought might be a thought about a cigarette, or a thought about, whatever.
Yeah, I think the other good thing, obviously, about vaping is obviously the friends and the community that you get to obviously meet. Because if I was smoking, obviously, I would have never met Juicy. I'd have never met Kay or went on Vape Shack or any vaping sites like that. And obviously, a lot of people know my good friend Aid now, that I go up and see a lot. I would have never probably met Aid unless I vaped. So that is one of the really good advantages of the vaping community.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you on that. I mean, if there wasn't a very strong vape community, I don't think vaping would be where it is without the vape community.
Oh, certainly.
Oops, I accidentally muted myself.
It's actually, the vape community actually reminds me a lot of being in the Army. And I think that's what really drew me in this last time, was having that community. Because, it's like being in the Army, the way that everyone looked out for each other. And so kind of when I lost that family and that sense of just a large group of people spread all about the world that I could rely on, in a sense, it kind of filled that void too. So
yeah,
it's
totally.
like
Totally, I agree. And I was joking around with my girlfriend last night about something. We were going to talk about politics or something, and I was like, oh, no, I'm not posting that on this thing, because the thing about vapors is that vapors are the only hobby I've ever had that's a true cross-section of the entire public. It's a true cross-section. It's everyone who's smoked, which could be anybody. And so, we have very little in common But a lot of important things in common, like our passion and our desire to quit smoking and our love for vaping and our desire to be friends and community and all that. But most of the other stuff we really don't have in common. That's one reason I love this show, is we get to meet all kinds of different people. But what I don't do is make this a platform for my personal political beliefs, because that's stupid. All I'll do is piss people off and alienate people. What I want is friends and vaping, and I don't need any of that other shit, you know what I mean? But we laughed and laughed at the true diversity of vapors. It's like, it's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a melting pot. There's a little bit of everyone in the vaping community.
Yeah. Let me do a quick little identifier. Hey, this is Vaping Dawn to Dusk. This is Orbital Vaping Headquarters. Today we have Kayy Vapes and Zack Schaefer. I can't point effectively, so my pointing looks stupid on screen. And we're just having their vaping stories, and we're having an episode of our show where we just talk vaping. We wake up in the morning and drink coffee and meet some people. And so I just want to also say thanks to everybody who watches this show, because we love all of you guys, and this show wouldn't even be here if it weren't for you guys. I always laugh about how this is this hobby, because of the community, because we're talking about vape community, Vape Fam. The Vape Fam is so great because this hobby combines community and narcissism. This is YouTube, is narcissism, community, and my natural personality, like technical crap. And so that's why I love doing the YouTube thing, because it's a combination of all those things, and that suits my personality. And the Vape Fam is the greatest thing in the world. Without the community, what would we have? It'd be no one to hang out with and talk to.
Well, I mean, without community, you wouldn't have advocacy.
That's right.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah, that's right. Although Luke is telling us that at Vape Jam UK, they dropped the fucking ball on that, didn't they?
Yeah, they did indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vape Jam, you dropped the ball.
All that show was about was, let's just make some money, and then we'll worry about that next year when we can't put on a show. It was stupid.
Yeah, I'm gonna go next year. I'm gonna show up, and you and I will just pick it there, and we'll show video of this broadcast. That's funny. A year ago, we were talking about this. What, you guys didn't get your shit together? Oh, I wonder what happened. Anyway, I'm not going to recriminate.
It'd be interesting. Be interesting to see what happens. I believe it's next month. They've got the other expo, which I'm not going to, but it's in Birmingham. Be interesting to see if a lot of TPD comes up there, because that's a different run event, so it's by somebody else. So that'd be interesting. I know Matt and V from Suck My Mod are going to that, so we'll probably hear if they spoke about it or not.
Yeah, I'm interested. Totally. That's a good question. I would like to know that. Oh, I just read in chat that Stephen Gibson had a 50-year smoking habit. Yikes. Good for you, buddy.
Jeez, man. Congrats on the vaping then. Sheesh, 50 years.
And yet his uncle said he never advocated for shit until he started vaping.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's killer. So, is this like the only day that everyone has a sunny day? Luke, is it sunny where you're at?
It's not too bad. It's a bit cloudy, but
I can see it in your face. No sense in asking Michaela, because we know where she lives, and I can see the sun at Zach's place. And believe it or not, the yellow thing is out here in Seattle too.
Oh wait, let's see if I can get a shot of this.
It's absolutely astonishing.
There's the Epcot ball somewhere over there. See it?
Yeah.
All the way in the distance.
Barely. Epcot Mountain.
Yeah.
Epcot Mountain. So what's going on over there on Oahu, Kay? What is the community like? Do you have friends right there, like army buddies, or do you have to hang out online with other people? I don't know anything about Oahu.
I actually live on the the side of the island that's mostly populated by Hawaiians. So I'm not, I don't live on post, so I don't live with all the other military families, but I do live in a community that was literally just built when we moved here in October of 2014, I think. So this housing area is all brand new houses, and a lot of actually military people moved here because the price, there's nowhere cheaper on island than this part for the houses. So I do have a little bit of the military community around me and a lot of the Hawaiian community, which has its ups and downs. It's really cool to get to know Hawaiians because they are very family oriented and look out for each other pretty intensely. So they're great people to be around and have in your children's life and stuff like that.
I agree. I have a natural affinity for all Pacific Islanders, and I can't explain it. I mean, I'm old enough to know now that for some reason, every Samoan or Pacific Islander I ever met in my entire life, I liked. And it's weird. There's just something about them. I'm like, I just like you immediately. There's something about you.
Right.
Like, I just like you. Like, you're just nice and we get along and you're funny. You know, they're relaxed, they're laid back, they're smart, and they're unpretentious. Maybe that's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Ooh, big word.
Maybe they are.
Really good people. Really good people to live around. So.
One of my best friends
I
is from
enjoy it.
Hawaii.
And I mean, it's beautiful. I live a block away from the beach, so can't really complain much. Life is rough here in Hawaii. Yeah.
That's killer. What do you do for a living, Kay? Right now, are you working in medicine still? If you don't mind me asking.
No, I right now I actually do nothing. I do YouTube. I have one daughter who will go to school next year, and I actually have a two classes away from a bachelor's degree of science in criminal investigation. Ooh. And I have all my nursing prerequisites complete. I just could never complete my nursing because I had to be a full-time student and I was a soldier at the time. So once my last child gets old enough to go to heck to school, so will I, and complete my degrees.
Oh my God, that's great. I really admire you because honestly, I don't have what it takes to be a nurse, and I know what it takes, and I don't have that. So. That's good. Good for you. There's a certain kind of person who can do that, and I can't. I can do other things, maybe better, but oh my God, I just need people like you. Yes. What about you, Zach? What do you actually do for a living, buddy?
I do lawn care. I'm a landscaper.
That's right. You told me, and you have a cool mask that actually is better than a beard for sunscreen, which it better be.
Yeah. Well, for $30, it better be.
Well, I was going to say too. You're not sunburned, so you must be a smart lawn guy.
Yeah. I mean, I wear long pants, long sleeves, and then I wear my little mask, comes up here, got my sunglasses on and my hat.
Yeah, totally. You know, lesson number one growing up in Texas was do not wear short sleeves in the sun. People don't realize this. People who grow up in places where it's not hot, they're like, oh my God, I'd be naked all the time. Hell no, you wouldn't. You'd be dead by 30.
I mean, I don't know if you can see it, but there you see the tan line right there. That's from my gloves. Yeah, you want to head in?
Let's say thanks to Michaela. She was so nice. She said she loves the show. Oh my God, we're going to see some video. Do me a favor, just while you're walking, mute it unless you're talking, and we're going to watch your video as you go. This is fun. And if you want to turn the camera around, okay, that'd be cool.
Yep, I can do that.
We're like silly. It's like our Vape Jam UK, except he's at Disney World.
Yep, and well, yeah, I'm going to have to like find all the smoking areas around here so I can go vape without getting yelled at.
Yeah. Some woman like passed by me the other day, and I was vaping, and she was like, "Oh, well, I'm gonna wait for you to stop." And I'm like, "It's indistinguishable from room air. It just smells like cinnamon." And she was like, "Well, I have problems you maybe don't know about." And I was like, "Is it one of those problems not being able to breathe room air?" Because you're breathing it now. Yeah. I mean, I was like, it was sad. I was like, you really need to go find out about this because you're smoking sucks, and this isn't smoking, and you're lumping them together. Because they look similar. Like that's just that's one of those things that you learn in school. Like two things that look similar aren't the same just because they look similar. They have to look like a dog, smell like a dog, and act like a dog.
Chadley's asking how's your lip?
It's pretty good. We talked about this a little bit this morning. Kate was like, "How's that lip?" And I actually don't even have. It like has a little bit of a numb spot, but there's no mark, and it doesn't hurt. I can't believe it. I'm lucky. I should have a big herpes sore right on my lip, a big fat one. Yeah, but I don't. So that's nice. Oh my God, look at the sun in Zach's freaking Disney World. Jeez, that sky is so beautiful.
Here, I'll show you guys the sky real quick. It's not too cloudy, but there's definitely some clouds.
You know, one of the holy grails back in the old days of making great artwork was faking the sky is actually much, much, much tougher than you guys think. It's really interesting. I made everything, actually. If you've ever seen it printed, I've made it. And one of the funny things is skies are tough because if you take a photograph of a sky and look at it with a loop, at 25x, you'll see that it's very perfect the way it gradiates, like way more perfect than most image setters can do.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
So, what other questions we have for these guys, Luke? I think this is really fun.
Let's
I
hear
love
some
our
questions.
Saturday morning crap. I've really loved just sitting around here chatting with you guys.
Yeah, I'm not I'm watching the chat. I've not seen any other questions asked. Yeah, I'm trying to think.
Well, let's see. I can say this. This as a new vapor, kind of somewhat pretty new vapor standpoint. The one thing that I also should have said that I like to focus on my YouTube and want to focus more on is safety, because safety it's always been ingrained in me. Safety is a big deal. I've just always been that way. That's a big Army thing. So safety is something that I always look into. When I first started vaping,
Me too, girl.
The number one thing I looked into is safety. And it's actually, to me, it's, natural and second nature to do something like that, but it actually isn't for a lot of people. And I find that a lot of people in the vaping community say they have this defined like beginner vapor, intermediate vapor, experienced vapor. And I really feel as though we need to transition to something more like your level of knowledge in vaping, not necessarily are you a beginner or experienced or intermediate or whatever, because from day one, I was very educated and continuing my education on vaping. So I find a lot of people say, a new vapor should never build. And that's one thing that I focus and am going to continue to focus on my channel, is that that's not true. A new vapor should never build. An uneducated vapor should never build. So I wanted to put that out there, that a lot of people, if you do your homework and you do your experience and your safety, because a lot of people don't really think about that. If they do that, then they can safely vape, but that's the number one thing that they should be doing. So that's kind of is to take away that stigma of the new guy.
We had a question from Michaela. Is there any reviewers that have helped guide you or help you with your vaping journey?
As far as myself, I watched a lot of like Ruby Ruin, those bigger guys, but they didn't by any means teach me I guess about like safety and things like that, things that were actually progressive in how my vaping style. A lot of where I learned my vaping style was in Hangouts, where people actually sat down with me and said, nope, that coil isn't right, and things like that. And that's how I really developed my vaping style. So not so much on YouTube. There was one gentleman, and oh gosh, I can't for the life of me remember his name, but he has the most amazing breakdown of Ohm's law for like the actually just dense and hard-headed person who just doesn't understand that kind of thing. And he was amazing at it. I wish I could remember the name of his channel, but I
think it's funny that sometimes vapors are a little bit provincial about Ohm's law. It's like that's a 250-year-old thing that is so well understood, and I love when people make great explanations of it that are simplified. I've only seen one truly great one, but it's funny that it's only now that average people are hearing, average consumer people are hearing about Ohm's law because of vaping, and that's pretty technical, isn't it? But you can understand it. You out there can find out how that works, and I'm with her on safety. My girlfriend's father is a nuclear safety engineer. He's the guy that ran the safety team that cleaned up 3 Mile Island when it overloaded. That's my father-in-law, and he is super focused on safety, and so am I. And my first video on YouTube was about safety, the very first one that I never watch anymore. And I couldn't agree more. It's about what's appropriate for you. If you're a new vapor, it isn't a matter of making a rule and applying it like some people say, new vapors should get mexed, new vapors should get regulated mods, new vapors should build, new vapors shouldn't build, whatever. That's not what it is. You have to match your particular addiction, your level of addiction to cigarettes and your style and how much you care about the vapor and the taste and all that crap with a piece of hardware, and then you have to get off the cigarettes. And after that, you can decide what kind of maintenance vapor you are, like what kind of thing you like to vape for a few years. There's that second phase where you'll vape for a long time on something, and like Kayy Vapes got there very fast. She got from quitting into the maintenance phase very fast, and but it may not be that way for you, and you can build at any time. You know what I mean? You could, while you're quitting, you can start building if you want to.
Right.
I like this Epcot view that we're seeing from Zach. He's walking into Epcot. I feel like we have a little tour there. By the way,
Yeah, I'm walking in. Didn't feel like waiting on the tram.
awesome. By the way, follow us on Facebook. Zach will approve you and then say hi to you. And yeah, our Facebook group is facebook.com/groups/Juicy Jones because they don't let you edit the names of those groups. You can never edit the URL once you put it on there. Yeti's uncle is laughing about how far you have to walk. He'll hear you tell that thing about the tram in a second.
Yeah, the tram. Sometimes you're waiting 5 to 10 minutes for that, and I'm just like, no, thank you. I can walk. I got 2 perfectly good legs.
Nice. Yeah, I actually didn't watch that much YouTube. I never actually watched any vaping YouTube until last July, and I only really watch Rip Trippers to learn how to build stuff, and then I ask people in person stuff. Like, I go up and talk to my friends at vape stores and the managers, and my friend Satiris Papadopoulos, who's fantastic. He's taught me so much stuff just in person. And
I got this bump. Thank you. Have a good one.
You tell me he's live on YouTube. Too late. No, because you'd have to stop to explain it to him. Then they'll ask you about vaping.
That guy was cool.
That is cool.
I gotta go to the bag line. I might have to put you guys down here for a second.
Oh, it's okay. We'll look at the X-ray machine. Just don't hang up.
So Josh says in chat, was vaping for almost 3 years before I got into building. It always seemed so hard to me until I finally got my first RDA. And it's true. It's like, it's very intimidating when you pull out an RDA and you have no idea about electricity or movement and resistance and crap like that. You look at that and you're like, oh my God, never can I do this. I was like, oh, it's intimidating. It's crazy.
It is until it's broken down for you. And we're going to do that too. Like Tuesday, we're building Claptons, but probably Thursday, we're going to do a show that's just like, look, it's a basic build. And it really can be demystified. I mean, honestly, the basic kit is you just get a velocity and freaking, it comes with an Allen key and some 22 and then a little cotton and some scissors and pliers, and that's it. And then you start doing your job. And then once you learn, though, I'm sure you found the same thing. Once you learn on a real RDA, it's so much easier. All of my first stuff was on tanks, and so RTAs, and they're so much more difficult, even though they're not really that difficult, than doing an RDA. That by the time I got to RDAs, I was like, oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, just one thing I'd like to bring up. A lot of people, and obviously we know Kayy has served. A lot of people are talking about it in the chat. And one of the really good things that I found from Vape Jam when I spoke to the Vapor Vet project is they're actually in the process at the moment of now trying to bring their service into the UK for people that are serving obviously in the UK as well now. So that is really good. And I've got I think it's about a 3 or 4 minute interview with the guy from the Vapor Vet project. So
that's cool. That's really great, man.
Yeah.
I didn't know you talked to those guys. That's cool. I'm glad you remembered to tell me that. I can't wait to see it. I didn't realize that they were going to be trying to get into the UK too. Honestly, I hope the UK starts issuing vapes to troops.
Yeah, well, that's what he said they're trying to do. They've obviously pretty much, they're obviously still doing it in America, and obviously, but they're trying to now, with the money and that they're getting, they're trying to bring it in to help the UK because there isn't anybody over here trying to help people that are serving in the UK get into vaping.
Here you go, guys. Epcot.
Oh, Zach's at Epcot. Wow. That's wonderful. I worked at the physically largest theme park in America, Six Flags Over Texas, for years, but they aren't as nice as Disney's parks. Not even close.
They're beautiful there.
I know, look at that. Of course, I hate humidity, so I would probably have fun for about 20 minutes. And then I'd be like, what is wrong?
You should take us with you in the Tower of Terror.
Yeah.
I love that place.
Yeah, that's a great I love all rides. Yeah, that's a great idea.
Don't drop your phone, though.
Oh, no, I love my phone. I will never drop this. But it's
yeah.
so hard to get the whole size of the ball in the picture.
You got a big ball.
Thing's huge.
It's huge.
Where's the wait? There's the ball. Where's the shaft? It's gotta be there somewhere.
I think it's going right up the middle.
Oh, it looks like it's going down. It's going down in the earth. I get it. The other ball must be
Yeah.
lateral to us.
Yep.
Oh, Josh C1081 just mentioned the Texas Giant. That's one of my favorite roller coasters. A few of us will
Oh
know
man,
what that is.
look at that line. Oh,
Yay.
Wendy, time to mute.
Yay, lines.
I think we are going to have to get near to wrapping up soon.
Yeah, what do we got? 10 minutes maybe?
The joys of having to go to work. It's not good.
Well, hey,
Luke's
sorry
back on
about the win,
schedule.
but if you can hold off like maybe 5 minutes, let me get to Canada and I'll enjoy a beer when we sign it off.
Yeah, we have another 8 minutes, 8 or 10 minutes.
Yeah, I'm gonna take you guys to Canada now. That's my favorite place to go in Epcot because their beer is super cheap and the food is amazing.
And also, by the way, just as a matter of passing, thanks to everyone who serves in the Army or any armed forces.
Yes.
You too,
Oh,
Kayy,
yeah.
all of you. I didn't join the
Definitely.
military, but
I
everybody
actually
in my
have a
family
message
was.
for all veterans, real quick. My whole family is all military, so that really resonates with me. So everyone who is watching, who has served, or who has family who has served, thank you so much. It means a lot. A lot of people really don't know what those troops go through. And a buddy of mine, Phil, who's actually in North Carolina right now, I've actually had some pretty close calls with almost losing him, and you really don't know what you have until something like that happens. So I just wanted to say thank you for every person's service ever in the whole entire lifetime of the military. So had to get that out of the way.
Totally. Thanks, Zach. You're right. I agree. My whole family, every generation except up to my father, joined the military. And I mean back to the Revolutionary War. I have the records. And
Yep.
it's pretty amazing. I believe in that too.
Yes, and thank you from me as well, because every single person in that operation is necessary and required. So
Yeah, I don't
thank you
think
guys
people
all
are
in the
extra.
chat.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's extra. And we have a lot of military viewers too, and it's just really great. It's like I just make lots of friends, and also Skeletor is a vet too, and he's another person who had got beaten up health-wise by being in the military, and then was also a smoker, and then quitting smoking and vaping is really important to him too. Has a lot of passion because it's really linked to his health and how much better he feels because he let that go.
Right.
That's great.
I'm gonna be a rebel really quick. All right, guys, you're gonna see it first on YouTube live. First ever random vape in the middle of Disney.
Oh my God, scandal!
Hopefully nobody says anything and I don't get in trouble. Because if I get thrown out of here, I mean that's a whole day wasted.
Well, don't take any more chances, but I love it. That's funny. At least we have a
Yeah,
little
here
highlight
you
for
go.
later.
This coming from me right here, this shot, this stuff amazes me because I'm a landscaper. So when I see stuff like this, I freaking lose my mind.
Look at that topiary!
There's a butterfly garden. It's I think it's like the flower and something else festival here right now.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I can't imagine the time
across
put
the
into
water.
that.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, right?
Oh, I think they said at one point in an interview that it takes the florist, I think like 3 to 4 weeks to get everything fully set up.
It's beautiful. I love topiaries.
Oh, here you go. Everybody's favorite. There's Mickey for you guys.
Dead mouse?
All right.
Or dead mods.
Yeah, dead mouse. Oh my goodness. I wish I could come through this and just smack you. That's Mickey Mouse. Come on now.
So, it... just muted myself accidentally. We got maybe another 5 minutes or so. Okay, do you have anything that you want to say to the viewers before we head out here? We're just going to wrap up and then take a vape and wait for him to get to Canada.
I'm almost there. Almost there.
Thanks guys for coming out and watching, and of course thanks to Juicy and Polish for having me on today. I was truly honored, and I hate you guys for waking me up at 3:30 in the morning.
Totally.
Yeah.
Point taken. Fair criticism. I've only had
Yeah.
2 people from Seattle. No, 3 people from Seattle in the show, and I always tell them, like, I know this is a hard sell. I know this is a hard sell, but I want you to get up early. But for you, I blew it off. I was like, oh, she'll never say yes. So I'm glad. I'm so glad. Thank you.
Well, 6 a.m. is a reasonable time for me, but 3:30, it's a little bit difficult. But if I ever make a live show, I'll make sure that it's around
Zach.
11 o'clock at night, and you guys will be my first guest. So, yeah.
That would be great. Hey, Zach,
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
little bit loud there, buddy.
What's that?
Mute yourself real quick.
Gotcha.
That would be great. Totally. Thank you very much. I'm sorry if you guys didn't hear her. She said, repeat.
Oh, I was saying if I ever start a live show, it'll be at 11 o'clock at night, and Polish and Juicy will be my first guests at like some kind of odd 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock. In the morning.
I was going to say
time zone.
That's 2 o'clock in the morning for me. That's funny. In fact, if you did a show at midnight, it would be easier for me on a Monday night because I get up at about 4 a.m. to do Vape AM. So that's actually pretty funny. Okay, well, that is great. Zach, what about you, buddy? Are you in Canada yet? You want to say something to the viewers? And
I am almost in Canada, but I must say hello to all of my friends in the chat. Thank you for showing up. Thank you to Juicy and Luke for having me.
Of course.
Nope. He's gone.
Oh, did we?
There we go.
He's back.
I lost it.
He had a little
I lost it.
It was a handoff.
Blame
He's
Canada.
gone.
Blame,
Come on,
blame
my mom's
Canada.
calling me. I'm blaming Canada for the
Yeah,
terrible
blame Canada.
reception.
Blame Canada.
But you, Luke, what do you think? Of course, you're gonna. Everybody subscribe to Luke and to Kayy Vapes
Jeez.
and everything. But remember that Luke's gonna have a bunch of Vape Jam highlights coming up soon, so it's time to sub to him.
All right, here we go. There it is. Canada, I'm here.
There.
All right, now we could sign off. I'm ready. Let's do this.
Okay,
Let me
everybody
mute
in chat, don't forget, if you like these videos, like the video so we can see that you like what we like that you liked. And subscribe to everybody, and we're going to vape out. We love you guys. What do I got here? I'm ready. Are you guys ready?
I'm ready.
Oh, I lied. I'm not ready. Hold on. Because I never have the window open with the button. I've never had it ready. Okay, here we go. Thank everybody. Thank you.